Hello, and welcome to a special edition of BCTD Now for the week of February 20th, your union construction news video. As you can see, joining me in studio is Communications Director of America's Building Trades Unions, Tom Owens. Tom, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, it's good to be here.
Great.
Feeling good.
Okay. Well, we're going to do a six-pack of questions like SportsCenter does with their guests on set. Let's go ahead and start off with project labor agreements. Okay. Tom, of the PLA news that we've talked about on this program over the last couple weeks, the Sacramento anti-PLA failure by the ABC not getting enough required signatures, down in LA with the Metro, transit work, $700 million worth of construction. Which is most important from your point of view of those news items that have come out recently?
Well, I think the LA Metro story is really big, not only because it's another in a series of PLAs that have been agreed to in Southern California, and it's a public agency. I think what's key about that one is that it was a unanimous vote by the Transit Board, which included 5 Republicans on that board, and it was just a great effort in terms of educating and engaging with public officials and telling the true story of what project labor agreements are all about and the value that they bring to both the specific job and to the surrounding community. You
know, it's tough for any local council leader, any building trades union business manager to tell the story about PLA positive news, especially with what the Associated Builders and Contractors tries to do with their op-ed pieces. You know, there was a recent article written by Nicole Gehring, the ABC director in the Bay Area, talking about PLAs and how they're discriminatory and everything that we always hear. But there are many ways that building trades leaders, local council leaders can help engage in that conversation and tell our side of the story. How do they do that? What are the available tools?
Yeah, there's, all across the country we're seeing, the ABC is being very aggressive. They're working with the American Legislative Exchange Council, which is a very right-wing conservative organization that's advancing legislation at the local level on all sorts of anti-union things, but in our particular instance, anti-PLA legislation. So we're seeing almost an avalanche of op-eds, editorials all over at the local newspaper level. And what we need for our folks out there our local building trades folks is to respond to these. We can't let things go unchallenged. The op-ed that you referred to, Ms. Gehring, claims that the recent PLA that they've signed with the Bay Area Rapid Transit Administration is going to increase the cost by $116 million, which is complete an utter fallacy. So we need to respond to that. So the department has a plethora of materials. We have research, we have op-eds, we have letters to the editor, we have anything and everything that our council leaders need to respond to these attacks, but it has to come from them. It doesn't do any good for Tom Owens to write a letter to the editor of the San Jose Mercury News. They need to hear from somebody local.
Sure, and they can get that information through the members only section of bctd.org. Just log in, everything's there, or they can get in touch with you if they need anything specific.
Absolutely, either way, yeah, it's on the website, or they can just call me directly and we can help them out.
And your email address is, just for the people out there that may not know.
Owens, Towens @bctd.org.
Let's talk about some good news. Across the country, down in Georgia, Plant Vogtle got its construction and operating license from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. That project is moving forward. $14 billion worth of construction on the 2 reactors there. And the good thing is, that they got the license, obviously, but the VC Summer site, which is in North Carolina, they're kind of not necessarily competing, but two sites, one union, one non-union. Maybe just talk about that from your point of view.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's great news. It's going to mean that getting the construction operating license for Vogtle is going to mean an immediate boost of about 1,000 guys on the job. So that's welcome news for an industry that's very, very been hard hit by this recession. Yeah, so we're excited to see the comparison contrast between how our guys perform and how the other side performs on those 2 projects.
Now that we're in the twilight of February, for the week of February 20th, this video, we've got 2 important events, building trades events coming up. First being the Legislative Conference at the end of April. Go ahead and talk about that. Maybe just hit some highlights for us.
Yeah, the Legislative Conference, our annual conference this year, is at the very end of April. It's a little bit later than we normally have it, but we're excited. It's an election year, so there's going to be a lot of energy. Going to be a lot of talk about how we approach this campaign and what we need to do to protect our interests going into this campaign. It's going to be a very critical campaign. So We're encouraging all of our state and local councils to make sure that they're there. We're going to have numerous workshops, a lot of very, very good, productive workshops that are going to provide our folks with the tools and things that they need, not only for the political season, but in general to help us tell our story and to help us generate more job opportunities for our members.
Another event on the calendar just after the legislative conference is the 2012 Labor of Love, moving from Florida back up to Baltimore, the Washington, D.C. area. New venue, but really the same mission.
Correct. Yeah, the Labor of Love this year is going to be very, very exciting. I've been involved with it for many years, and this is the first year. I mean, I'm really, really excited about this one. I mean, we're going to be in Baltimore this year. It's going to be a whole host of activities, from golf to horse racing. We're going to have a softball tournament at Camden Yards, on the field at Camden Yards. Peter Angelos, the owner of the Baltimore Orioles, is a great, great friend of the building trades, and he's basically done anything and everything to help us put this event together, and it's really, really going to be something special.
Well, it seems like it's grown Project Type Zero in the last few years. It's grown in not only stature but also attendance, and hopefully bringing it, back into the Washington, D.C. area. The thought there is maybe you get even more attendance, even more dollars in to fight diabetes.
Correct. Yeah, we can kind of expand our reach regionally to involve a lot more folks by having it in that location.
Okay. Well, Tom, thanks for your time today.
Hey,
we
my
certainly
pleasure, Don.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
As Tom said, get involved. Log on to bctd.org. Get in the members-only section. Contact Tom Owens. If you need to get in touch with us any other way, you can through our Facebook page. That's America's Building Trades Unions on Facebook. Through bctd.org. There's many things that we're doing now to keep in touch with them, and also, get information back from the local councils. So again, with that, we say so long. See you next week.